Hello, hello, hello. Is anybody in here? Is anybody live? If you guys are here, let me know. I was thinking of, hey, I'm about to jump online and see what's happening in this ummah, in this channel. So it's 11 p.m. I have some time. It's the end of the week. In a couple of minutes, we'll have the start of the next week. A new chapter of our lives will start. So we'll see what's going on. I see somebody's already in the chat box. Atan is in the game. Salam alaikum, Yan. Alaikum salam, Atan. Is your name Atan? So yeah, I just figured I'm gonna stop by, and talk to you guys. The topic is, when will you die? When will I die? Right, this is the topic. Greetings from Malaysia. That's awesome. Yeah, I know the camera is blurry. I have this really bad. I have two laptops. One of the laptops is in the bedroom, and my wife is already sleeping, and I don't want to go there and wake her up to take the laptop. And I also have my gear for podcasting there. So I'm in the kitchen, just chilling here, and I have this not that great laptop. So unfortunately, my camera is blurry. Mona, what's happening? Thank you for stopping by. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, medic. You guys are in the house, so let's turn this party. This should be like a sponsor of these videos, Bureau. I'm gonna ask them for some money. It's non-alcoholic Malina Alimetka. So this means lemon and I don't even know how to translate Malina. Cranberries, yeah. You can see cranberries. Does that make sense? Yeah, non-alcoholic. Let's see how it goes. Maybe we can do like a segment each week, like Jan drinks non-alcoholic beer or non-alcoholic, whatever this is, and talks about that. Greetings from Chechnya. Man, you're in Chechnya? That's crazy. What's happening? Are you in Grozny? Grozny, by the way, means horrible in my language. Hrozny, we say Hrozny, which means horrible or terrible. And I know Grozny is the capital of Chechnya, so let me know. Salam alaikum, Murtaza. Alaikum salam. Samira. Hey, what's up, Samira? Thank you. Alaikum salam. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. This is awesome. How's your week? How was your week? My week was pretty crazy. I got married, as I said in my previous live stream. I also was in the protest again to support Palestine here in Prague. It was a pretty big protest. I interviewed a bunch of people. There's a video from it on my channel. Yeah, I just had an awesome week. Today I spent all days in the mountains. We at 7 a.m. we left Prague and we went to the borders of Germany and we were hiking with my wife. So I'm very tired. We came home late. I got some shower, got some food in me. I went to pray my Maghrib and Isha in the mosque, and then I'm back in the game. And that's it. Shout out from Ireland. Nice. Ireland. Man, I want to go there. Are you from Dublin? Let me know. Dublin's in the house? It's the same meaning, Grozny, in Russia. Man, that's depressing, right? If your country's capital is named like terrible. What do people think about this? Like, is there like an inside joke in Chechnya about this, or what's going on? Congrats on the marriage. Yeah, thank you, Samira. We'll see how it goes, but so far so good. Yeah, every marriage is difficult, so I'm pretty sure this one is gonna be as well. But I'm okay. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Today, I want to talk about when will you die? When will I die? It just popped into my head. I don't know why, but it seems to me that we spend a lot of time debating online, offline, with people about whatever topics we are talking about, whether that's atheism, whether we talk about nihilism, or we're talking about whether God exists. than Islam, whatever, Sharia, anything like Israel, Palestine. But at the end of the day, there's one certain thing, like we all gonna die. And wouldn't it make more sense to you when you're dying, when you are like last few seconds before you are gonna die, to at least make your peace with it that yes, I've tried to at least understand Islam, I went for it, and this is what happened? Or would you prefer to disregard all the evidence or all these things? And I'm not saying Islam like it is for everybody, but maybe somebody feels, let's say somebody feels attraction to a certain lifestyle or certain belief. Maybe somebody wants to be a Buddhist and they want to do it, but they are afraid to do it. Like, wouldn't it make sense to just go for it? Like, when you're on your deathbed, you will only regret those things that you didn't do. And living the life with belief in something is much better, not just for your hereafter, but also it will make your life more enjoyable long term, just having a belief, having a value system set up, core values in your life to help you navigate this world, having a GPS, really strong, compass. And of course, for me, it's Islam, and it makes sense. And I have my logical reasons, I have intellectual reasons, then I have emotional reasons, then I have reasons from first experience, something that happened to me that cannot be described. So all these things combined, yeah, they make my fitra awaken, and that's it. Maybe somebody else, like I know people who are Christian, they really have a very, well, they don't really go intellectually about their faith, but they have a very spiritual relationship with Jesus, peace be upon him, in their tradition. And maybe that something happened to them and they can't like rationalize it, so they just go with that. And everybody has their own things. I mean, we can just debate this forever, because if it would be so easy to logically convince everybody to accept Islam, everybody would be Muslim by now. But obviously, this is not the case because people have different reasons, not just emotional. So yeah, you have your experiences, and yeah, it's just so important to really think about your moment of dying. And every day, I'm just thinking about this. Even today in the hike, I was just looking at my hands and everything, and I was just thinking to myself, like, man, I'm so lucky to even like move this hand to do this. There are people who can't even do that, and I take it for granted. Like, I don't really appreciate anything in my life. Um, just life, just being able to like to me transmitting my voice through internet to you, seeing me sitting here and drinking this thing. That's crazy, right? That's insane. In like 50 years ago, this would be incredible. But now I take it for granted. It's like another live stream, but it's pretty incredible. And just like seeing with your eye is incredible. You're having your hands, just feeling, touching, being able to communicate with somebody, having friends. All these things are incredibly valuable, and we don't really pay attention to them. And it's such a pity. And only in a deep reflection, only when you pray and when you reflect deeply, and I would consider this after Salat. So once you are done with your Salat and you're doing maybe a dua or something like that, when you're really reflecting on your life, and maybe you want something from Allah, but you really just kind of are in a reflective mode and you're going deeper, that's when you should like really just realize that just you thinking is a gift, because you didn't deserve this life. It was given to you for free. So what do you do with it? So that's pretty crazy. So just let me know what you think about this. Hey, what's up? Salam. No life sake of Cork. I know Cork. That's a really cool name of the town, right? Ireland. Before we get occupied. Got school tomorrow. It's 11 a.m. So I gotta leave. See you, Samira. All good with you. what's happening? I think the day I die will be the happiest day of my life. I know I have a burden. I know a huge burden will be gone. I will feel light and will see light and will know what I believe was true. Have you heard about this, guys? That people, when they have near-death experience, when they, are on operation table in the hospital, or when they have a car accident or something, and they are almost dying, like their soul is out of their body. Maybe they are looking at their body through a third person, like outside of the body experience. And it was described that many people actually felt what they believed. So, like the Buddhists or the Hindus were feeling the same things that they believed. The Christians were seeing the things that they believed. The Muslims were seeing the things that they believed. Like when they were leaving, when they were looking at the tunnel and they were looking at the light, they were going to light. Like I think in some Native American religions, they were just swimming in water to it because that's the tradition. And I think maybe that's got to do with your DMT release. When you're dying, this will get released and you will have hallucinations maybe like a few seconds before you die. So maybe that will, be tied into what you believed in and will create like a super, super crazy state for you. And we don't know what's beyond that, but that's kind of what it is. And yeah, like in your daily life, just washing dishes and all these things, like it's pretty difficult. Everything is difficult, right? In life, life is not easy. Even the best life is not easy. Every life is difficult in some sense. So I imagine that you won't have to worry about anything anymore. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Um, the craziest thing that is that nobody knows when they will die. And that's something also to consider. Yeah. Would you prefer to know when you die? Like how are you thinking about this? 'Cause I don't think I would like to know. Let me know. Lol, the thumbnail with that title looks like a threat. Really? Dang. Love your content. Thanks, man. Appreciate my depth of topics. We need more topics online. Isn't it crazy that here's the deal? Every one of you and every one of us will die. Everyone who watches this will die. Everyone in this world will die at some point. It is impossible to live forever. Yet we act as though it's not gonna happen. I'm not talking Muslim, non-Muslim. I'm talking like regular people. Nobody likes to talk about this topic. It's always taboo. And then when we talk about it, it's pretty strange. Like I have grandmothers, and they are like 80 something. And when they talk about death, it's like strange. I don't know what to say to them. Like, hey, we're just waiting for death. That's what my grandma said a few days ago. And I'm just like, I don't know what to say because we never talked about this. Imagine if I would bring up my child with the concept of death in their mind. So it's not a surprise. Pretty messed up. Well, not messed up, but that's pretty crazy. Um, I think it's important because then you get easily, you know, funneled into some mental health depression because you realize nothing matters. So that is difficult, but I think it's exciting. It's the next life. It's the life after life. Like, what's that level like, right? And nobody knows, and that's the beauty of it. And everybody has to go through it. Isn't that crazy? Like we live in this simulation, in this universe. We think this life is all that there is. We have 80 years to live here, to have kids, to fulfill our careers or ambitions, whatever you want. And then we die, and we will not remember anything of it probably. Or maybe we will, but it's not going to be that important. Crazy. Um, it's funny that we can get stuck in this simulation very easily, like at work, and spend years without thinking of actually I'm gonna die. There's many people like that. Hey, what's up, Michael? See you in the house. I don't want to know, but what do I know is nihilism is the scariest thing on earth. Hey man, that's correct. Yo, Isma. It's correct. I used to be nihilistic, and the scariest part of it that you don't see a not the green light. How would I say this? You don't see light at the end of the tunnel. Anything that you want to get excited about, or you find a purpose in your life. Let's say you have a business and it really takes off like mine did. It doesn't please you because you know you will die, so it doesn't matter. Or you find a wife or a girlfriend and you really love her, it doesn't matter, you will die. So it's nihilism is very, and it's dark because you realize not just this relationship doesn't matter, everything doesn't matter, this entire planet and this universe doesn't matter. We're just speck in the dust, just floating around. Like that's kind of what people tend to believe nowadays. It's pretty messed up, and that's why they act like they do, because in their view they only have this life, so they should better enjoy it because there's nothing after it. They won't be held accountable. This is all they have, so they just want to spend it as they like. You only live once. You should enjoy yourself. So do whatever, sleep with as many people as possible, and then you tell them about like, hey, dude, if you're interested in the meaning of life or something like that, look at religion. And they just say, oh, I don't need religion in my life or something. And it's like, man, well, maybe that's true, but look, there might be God here. And if God exists, we're all screwed in your kind of viewpoint. So you should really figure out what this God wants from you and how do you achieve it, so study it. But people don't want to do it. And what's weird is when people are going to die, let's say you have cancer and you have a few weeks until you die, they will go and do bungee jumping. They will try to experience as much of this dunya as possible. Doesn't make any sense. Like the first thing you should be doing is grab Bible, Quran, and Torah and start reading and figuring out what's the truth behind this simulation. What happens when you die? What's the next level? No, I want to stay in this level and just enjoy it. How dumb is that? Yeah, that would be crazy. Fortunately, nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows. And yeah, it's kind of hard to sometimes live life with the knowledge that these 70 years or 50 years or 40 or 20, I don't know how much Allah will give us, but these years we have in this planet is nothing in comparison what's out there. Because even if you don't believe in God, let's say you don't believe in God, there's one thing for sure: you will be dead for longer than you are alive. So it's infinity, basically. And if we believe in God and we know that Islam is the truth, we know we will forever live in either Jannah or Jannah. And that's a scary thought, right? Like there's no middle place. It's either this or this. And to enter Jannah, to enter the greatest blessing, the feeling you can't even imagine, which I can't even imagine. And I had this experience doing Ramadan, during Ramadan, where I believe I felt something. I felt something like a drop of Jannah, but like one drop of Jannah, you will forget about all your problems. If we want that, how difficult it must be to get there. Imagine people want to buy a car here in this dunya, in this world. They want to buy a Ferrari, right? How much time they spend on it, or if people want to buy a big house and live a great, comfortable life. And so that means you have to study, you must get your maybe business degree, then you start a company, you sell a company, you spend 17 hours at work, just grinding, making money. Then you're 40, you get divorced, you disregard your family, you're just focused on the career. And then maybe at 50, you have your dream come true and maybe you make a couple of millions of dollars and buy a great Ferrari or something. And that's your dream. And that's great. Or people who want to be a basketball player or all these things here. How much time they have to spend, like spent to achieve that level of mastery, to even get to like NBA and those big leagues. And imagine like you want to get to Jannah, how more difficult it is. It's much more difficult to get to Jannah than to do any of these things. You have to be disciplined. You have to have a moral foundation in this world. You have to obey the religion that you follow. You have to believe, and you have to be able to withhold criticism. You have to be able to go further even if you're tested with good and bad. So I'm being tested with good things, but I know there will be a time where I'm going to be tested with sickness or with the death of somebody I love. How will I deal then with Islam? Will my Islam be strong enough? I don't know. Hopefully it will be. Because in some cases, people, when somebody close dies to them, next to them, they turn away from religion. I hope I will not. But, you know, all these things are trials and tribulations. In even Quran, it says, hey, if you want this Jannah, we'll test you like nobody else. Like everybody was tested. Do you think you will enter this Jannah without being tested? Through money, we'll test you with fame, we'll test you with hardship, with misery, with no money, with sickness. And we'll see if you choose Allah after all these things. And so this is more difficult than anything you can imagine. Then you have to pray, you have to fast, you have to do these things, you know. You have to be a good person or try to be a good person. I'm not a good person in my heart in terms of like, I find it difficult. I have to move myself to help someone. I'm not like, there are some people like my wife, she's very good in her heart. She likes to help people. I'm like very stubborn and, you know, sometimes I don't come across as very friendly, but it's my kind of nature. So I'm trying to tweak that, right? I'm trying to be a better person. And that's what Islam is doing. It's trying to create a better version of me, update me, because I want to be updated. I don't want to stay in this stuck version of me, you know. Just this version of me that I've created right now is 100 times better than what I used to do like 3 years ago. Incomparable. So yeah, imagine just people working for this dunya and then you work for the akhirah and for Jannah. You you will always have why. Like people talk about in these motivational videos online, like you need your why. But all these things in this world, the why is very soft. It doesn't matter that much that I want to build this business. Why? Because I want to have money or I want to secure my family. That's not a good reason. But why? I want to enter Jannah. That's a very good reason, you know. And you know, and imagine the day when you find out that, you know, this was all the truth. The judgment day starts, and you were prepared for it. You'll be scared as it's going to be the hardest day in your life, 50,000 years long. You'll be shown every deed in your life. You'll be shown every action. You'll be held accountable for everything. But you will be, you know, not arrogant. You'll be humble and you will try to, you know, ask for mercy. And imagine going to Jannah just forever. I'm not talking winning one NBA championship, forever. There's nothing you have to do. How crazy is that? So it's just something I think about, like, isn't that worth more than this world and what it contains? Anything here is nothing compared to that. Yeah. You can reflect on anything. Today I was just watching ants crawl on the floor. Not the floor, but in the mountains where we were. And I saw these ants where we were eating apples. And I was like, these ants, like this is so crazy. They have their own ecosystem and everything. We don't even notice them, but there's hundreds of them, and they have a purpose. I don't know what the purpose is, but I know the ant doesn't know that I'm observing it and recognizing his existence. But he has a purpose, and he's doing his own thing. He doesn't even know that he exists in this dunya. He doesn't really care. He has a purpose. That's the same for us. We don't know what's out there, what's going on. Can you talk more about the great sense of conviction you had? I'm still new, my conviction, my iman is, I guess, much lower than your guys because you grew up with this. So my iman is shaking. It can be shaken, but I always pull myself back with salat and all these things. But my conviction, comes from many things. Um, I just always come back to Allah. It's simple as that. Like it always comes back to: is there Allah or isn't there Allah? There is Allah. I know there is Allah, and it always comes back to also like Islam. So the conviction is very easy. Actually, it's very logical. I already had experience with something in Islam during Ramadan, so I'm fairly confident in it. I still have many questions and many things that I haven't solved that I'm trying to do, and it will take me a lifetime to solve them. But inshallah, one day I'll understand everything. But yeah, my conviction hopefully will stay strong. Too much materialism destroys your peace. Like people, like in Dubai, right? It's a Muslim country, Muslim city, but they get sucked into this this thing, materialism. Like it doesn't make sense. It's all a game. It even says in the Quran, like the worldly life is a game. We created this as a play field to see which one of you will prefer that versus the hereafter. People still do it. Muslims still do it. Like I don't know why. How did you handle the accusations of the anti-ex-Muslims? Yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? Yeah, sometimes I think about this. Yeah, for sure they shaken my faith, but in the beginning, not now. I'm pretty grounded now in the faith, but it's well, anti-Muslims they are very weak because they they are not really open-minded and they don't. Their arguments are not based on anything. And I'm not talking about atheists. Like atheists are fine, but like if somebody says like Muhammad was a pedophile, I don't pay attention to that. But ex-Muslims, it's more difficult because they come from Islam and they decided to leave because they prioritized whatever. They prioritized their own happiness, their own desires. They didn't want to be shackled by the religion, so they want to experience freedom and see what the West has to offer. So let them see and let's see what they say. It will take them a couple of years to realize that there's nothing there, it's empty. But it looks nice. It looks nice. So the accusation, yeah, it's difficult, because they know that I don't know everything. They know that I don't know everything, so they will pull some hadith or something on me, which I haven't heard, and what should I do? So I usually don't engage, and if I do, like, why should I? Like, they're coming from a completely different perspective into outside of Islam. I'm coming there from a completely different perspective. I'm already they are going into the world where I've been. I've been in whatever situation they want to do, and I'm telling them this is not it. But they want to try it out. So hey, you can do it, but like I'm warning you, there's nothing there. So like, why would you throw away your GPS in life for your own desires and just your own happiness? And like it's not real. It's all fake. Anyways, I don't judge anyone. They can do if they can do whatever. Yes, I know this. There's even a hadith about this. Congrats on the marriage. Why did you choose Penal servitude for life. What's this penal servitude for life? I don't understand your second sentence, Phil. Penal servitude. Why is there something rather than nothing? It's very mysterious. Yeah, that's true. Why is there something instead of nothing? Similarly, just like why do you have 5 fingers? Why don't, like, if evolution is a random thing, like why don't I have 7 fingers and why don't you have 9? Why we all have 5? Why? Why is it perfect? Why is everything perfectly in the place, in my organs? This building is perfect. Why is everything perfect, you know? Why is it not like randomly generating something? You know, that's cool. Hey, what's up? Alaikum salam. I'm a recent revert. I was referring to the spiritual experience you had repeating. Ah, okay, okay. You're a recent revert? Where are you from? Tell me. Oh, you're from Ireland, right? Yeah, well, my fitra got awakened twice. So the first time was, well, 3 times now, I guess. So the first time was like a year ago when I first started to learn about Islam. And that was during jogging. The second time was after I accepted Islam. And third time was this Ramadan when, yeah, I was talking about Al-Fatiha. Let me look at what was your original question. Oh, oh, the conviction. Well, you see, the conviction that I have now is different because before I used to have a conviction which was based on, you know, logical arguments, maybe even the sense of like just seeing the results in my life since accepting Islam, you know, everything got better. Um, like everything. I'm not just talking about not drinking, not smoking, but everything that I prayed for was happened. So, you know, that thing, then the relationship with Allah, having taqwa, having the fear of Allah as well. All these things helped me in the life, you know. So I saw the benefits. So that was my conviction. Then looking at Islam and figuring out like splitting of the moon, right? Splitting of the moon. And when I looked it up and looked at Sheikh Uthman's videos about it, really helped me to figure out like, okay, there's many things in Islam which seem strange, but when you really dig deep, they actually make sense. So nothing was in a like very big contradiction to me. And so yeah, that was my conviction, and I knew that Allah existed and all these things. But then in Ramadan, when I had this experience, you know, it's not like something I can tell you or I can teach you or you know I can whatever talk about because it must be experienced. And the experience I made a video about it, but I can't really put it into words because it was the biggest fear of my life mixed with the biggest bliss of my life in one feeling, lasted for a few seconds. And I've heard a voice telling me, hey, feel me, feel this, and tell me what you think. You know, how do you explain this? It either sounds crazy or it sounds made up, or it really happened, you know. And I wouldn't blame you for picking any of those options, but I know what happened, and I know it was between 2 and 3 a.m. and my wife knows because she was there, and you know, and that's crazy, right? And it's like when you see a ghost, right? Or not a ghost, but whatever. When people see these things in their life, um, you can't really take away that thing that you saw, even though it doesn't fit within the physical world. It's something you are like you experienced. Like if you see a jinn or you have an experience with that, you will not forget about it. And it doesn't matter that you tell me like an atheistic whatever argument for it that I was sleeping or that it was my chemicals. It's possible, dude. I'm telling you, it's possible, but uh, you know, there's something that happened and it kind of grounds me, you know. Oh yeah, just a joke, Phil. Oh, I didn't get it. Sorry, I'm a bit sleepy and tired. And why did Allah wait for 100,000 years of Homo sapiens to then send his messengers down? 100,000 years of Homo sapiens. You have to ask Allah, man. How should I know? Like, there's many things. Like, one guy was asking me today on Instagram, why did Allah pick the Prophet Muhammad to be his prophet? And he was trying to accept Islam or something, and he had these questions. So I was recording some voice messages for him, and I said, like, I have no idea why. I can tell you what was Prophet Muhammad, what was his um, character like, how old was he? He was in his 40s. He was a trusted man in Mecca. People called upon him when they had disputes. He was he had very good moral character. He was a good businessman as with his first wife when they traveled, I think, into Damascus. He was he was able to handle business. So he was a trusted guy. He went to meditate in the cage, not cage. Yeah, into cave. Sorry, cave above Mecca, and then the angel Gabriel came. So why Allah chose Prophet Muhammad? Um, I don't have more knowledge on that, but there's many things I don't know why. But you can research that. Time is relative. Nice. Time is not going to be experienced as a long time for an eternal being. Yeah, if you're outside of time and space, right? I'm not talking that you're an Allah, but if you are outside of time and space, and you're looking down on this simulation, on this dunya, like, of course, it's not going to be experienced as that. We can already know that from black holes and all these things. So, simple as that. That's it, guys. Let me know what's up. What's going on? What do you think about? We talked about death today. We talked about pretty depressing topics. I hope your week is gonna be good. And yeah, I just wanted to chat about this because sometimes there's not many people I can talk to about these things. And even if I talk to like non-Muslims, it's not that deep, let's say. And with some Muslims, it's fine, but some of them, they don't really get me. So just wanted to chat with you and see what do you guys think about, dying. Like, fortunately for me, I never had a death in my family, except great grandmothers and people who I wasn't really close to. Um, so I'm still kind of waiting for that, big trial, and I'm thinking about it a lot. Like, how am I gonna handle the death of somebody close to me? It's gonna be pretty difficult, but that's something we should all be thinking about. Yeah. How do you then go about living your life, your daily life, and also thinking about death? Maybe you can tell me, guys, how often do you think about, death? Is it daily? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? What do you guys do? By the way, this is not a beer, non-alcoholic beer. All pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. My favorite drink. Now this is too sweet. Too sweet. Every day. That's crazy, Phil. Isn't it crazy that even before you were a Muslim, right, you were thinking about death every day, right? Because I think I was for sure thinking about death every day before I was a Muslim, because I was in a complete state of nihilism and depression and drugs or whatever. And yeah, I just couldn't get that thought out of my head. The worst thing was that I was reading these uh, Russian books from, who's this guy? The most famous Russian, Dostoevsky, and he was writing about Crime and Punishment, the guy turning himself into a murderer, just a normal guy who didn't pay his rent, and then he killed his landlord with an axe, and he justified it, and then he lived in the fear of knowing that he just killed that person, and he was just lying in the bed, and it was happening, and I was just like reading this book, and it just was really crushingly depressing. And in that state, it was like the worst moments of my life was with that book. I remember nothing worse than reading Dostoevsky and having a nihilistic episodes of months, in bed, just thinking about this, plus experiencing that on a daily basis because I had these terrible headaches that wouldn't go away for 9 months. And I even fainted at the work, and my colleague had to get me to hospital. They put me into like a CT scan, and I thought I had like a tumor, but they didn't find anything. But my pain was excruciating. I thought I'm gonna die every day. When I woke up, all I felt was like this buzzing feeling, pain in my head. It was horrible, horrible life. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, nothing. It was really the worst 9 months of my life. Um, and I was constantly thinking about like I'm gonna die, and nobody cares. There's no purpose. My entire family doesn't even know that this happens. I'm just telling them that my head hurts, but I might like I don't know what this is. Maybe I have some crazy disease. And yeah, and I'm reading this Russian Dostoevsky. It's just the worst misery of my life, man, and just completely, deep into nihilism. That was my kind of worldview. My mother visited me. We went to get lunch. I was pale. I was like a Viking. Just like I'm this is like dark skin for what I used to look like. I was pale. I had no color, like a dead person, and I couldn't even eat a slice of pizza. And the tiniest, but not the tiniest, there was a music playing in the bar or whatever, the restaurant, and I couldn't even listen to it. I had to leave the restaurant and just crawl on the street in the corner and just like stay there. And she was just like looking at me like, "What's going on, Jan? Are you all right?" And I was just like, "I can handle this. Like this music, this is all too much." you know it was just, and this pain wouldn't leave me, and it was horrible. I tried to get drunk, I tried smoking weed, I tried all things, it wouldn't go away, and then it was cool. Anyways, assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam, alaikum salam, alaikum salam. See you in the next video, pondering soul. Let me see what you guys wrote here. My father died when I was a child. That has been something that's motivated me in my life. Hafsa. Interesting. You know, my father didn't die, but he left me when I was 2, and then I met him at 20. And so it's not the same, but I don't know if he died, maybe it would be even better in terms of just like his memories about him. But yeah. Sorry for your loss. It's definitely difficult to grow up without a dad. Oh man, that's pretty crazy. Sorry to hear that, Phil. I'm the only child, so I never had anyone, die. In terms of I have many step brothers, step sister, but I don't have like natural or like your real sister or brother. I think death and life are always an elephant in the room. Nobody wants to address either of them. Yeah. So then we do small talk and pretend to talk about weather. Pretty sad. Do you fear death more now that you're a Muslim than when you believed in just? No, of course not. I don't fear death now. I mean, I do fear. I don't want to die, obviously, it's a human instinct. But I'm in the state that I know I'm a Muslim. I'm doing what I can to prepare myself for that. There's a great Muhammad Ali video online. You should check it out. They asked him, like, what do you want to do after your boxing career? And he's in his 40s before he got Alzheimer. And he said, I'm going to prepare to meet God, like for 50 years. And they were like, what? And he said, no, 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 I'm going to prepare to meet God. So I have 50 years, but maybe 20 of them I'm going to like have free time to actually do what I have to do to get closer to God. And God doesn't care that I am a boxing champion. God only looks at good deeds. And you can see this in Ali's life, like when he went and rescued the hostages in the Iranian embassy and saved like 20 American people by negotiating with Saddam Hussein. And they were all like thanking him, hugging him at the end. He was already like, he couldn't speak, he had Alzheimer's. He said like, don't thank me, thank God. I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for Allah. And it's pretty crazy that he lived his entire life like that. And in that clip, he says that, you know, you just have to get ready to meet God. So I'm getting ready to meet God. I realized that early in 29, early. I mean, some people are getting ready from 15. I'm just getting ready now. So I'm ready to go anytime I have to go. You know, if I die tomorrow, then, you know, I was preparing every day for it. I'm content with the death. I don't know when it's gonna happen. Maybe I have 100 years in front of me, but I'm preparing for it. I don't expect to do tomorrow anything. And if I wake up, inshallah, that's great. But yeah, before that, oh no, it was horrible. There's no, it's the end. It's horrible feeling. Oh man, Kenya's in the game. Yeah. You guys are inspiring me. Born Muslims are inspiring me. I don't know why reverts are inspiring you. Born Muslims are much stronger in a sense. I guess it's more that I embraced the religion which wasn't my parents or my country's, but what you guys are doing it's the same. We're all the same. Right. Yeah. People don't want to like talk about this. It's strange, like I don't know. My family members, there's a guy who was celebrating 50, and he's like, "Oh, I still have 20 more years ahead of me. So I'm buying a new car. I'm doing this." And I wanted to tell him, like, dude, you have 20 years ahead of you, inshallah. I mean, maybe. Why don't you get ready to meet God? Like, you're already on your way out. So just spend your life. Just go to church or mosque and just start learning and praying on your knees to have so God can have mercy on your soul. Because if you just spend indulging in this dunya, you will regret it on the deathbed. You will regret that you didn't try to come closer to God. That's what I feel like. Like when I leave this planet, 1 second before I die, I want to feel like, hey, I wanted to find who is God, and I was on my best way to do it. My mission is accomplished. I like the money, I like women, I like all these things, but I knew the most important purpose of my life, the entire mission, was to get closer to God, to Allah. And if I was on my way, if I was going to the straight path, that's all I could hope for. So in 29, I turned, I cleaned up my slate, I did my shahada, and I'm walking the path, and I'm never going off the path. And maybe something will happen, and I will, trip and fall or something. But I'm staying on the path. I know this is the path. I've tried all the other paths, philosophy, atheism, nihilism, drugs, this, that, this. These paths don't lead anywhere. There's only one path. So I'm staying on this path and it leads somewhere. There is a destination. So it's beautiful, right? And I know it's correct. Now, I don't know how to convince anyone else, but I know it's correct for me. So that's good. There is a clear link between fear of death and maybe your inability to accept that it is all our fates. Since death is not indeed. So the link is what between fear of death and what? My inability to accept that it's our fate. I don't know. Yeah, I think the fear of death is one thing, but then the other thing is also just you're as a human being, you wanna figure out where are you going, where did you come from, what's going on. So that's another thing, like just using your reason and intellect to establish like, okay, there must be something else going on besides these material things. Because I can dream. What are dreams? I can have emotions, but nobody can see what I'm feeling. Isn't that crazy? I can trick you into thinking I'm smiling because I'm happy, but I'm not smiling, I'm miserable. So we can play this game forever. Materialistic world is like a facade, you know. So yeah, I think it's a combination. But yeah, fear of death for sure. But you shouldn't become a Muslim for just being fearing for just fearing death. You know, it must have a logical, because if you just become Muslim fearing by fearing from this reason, you won't have a solid faith. You know, you must have solid intellectual background into why you believe Allah exists. Like, what fear of that? You know, you must justify your position. Who is Allah? Why does He exist? Why is it necessary so He exists? All these things. Must be odd, but I don't really want to. Yeah, I used to think the same thing. Like, why would I want to live forever? That's like painful. But we have to really, you have to really study this. And also, it was explained to me like everything that you feel in this life, it's not gonna be there. Like all your, things like you have to go to the toilet, you have depression or whatever, your thoughts, all that is gone. You are just pure existence, kind of in a complete blissful state eternally. So it's it's not like you would have to exist in this form forever. It's just your purest good self going to be there forever. And that's something you would want to do. So look it up. Look it up. Yeah, completely different worldview, right? Taken out for being born Muslim for granting when you get something for free. I know, I know. It's difficult, because everybody claims to have the truth, every religion. So, as a born Muslim, you might be sort of looking at it like, but how do we know Islam is the truth? Like, and maybe your parents tell you, don't look at atheism, don't look at philosophy, don't study Christianity. So then it's like completely blind faith. Like, okay, I'm gonna be a Muslim, but I don't know why. So it's difficult. It's figured as a born Muslim, you must have reasons as well. It's not just because of your parents. It must be like, hey, I'm a Muslim, but I'm not blindly Muslim. I'm a Muslim because I've looked at the Bible, it doesn't make sense. I checked out this, it doesn't make sense. I looked at the atheism, oh, I was confused, they almost got me, but it doesn't make sense. You must be able to do that, but you must be strong in your belief before you do, so that you don't get swayed away and you don't end up in Jahannam. Sometimes we take it for granted, yeah. But the thing is, like, you must realize something. I didn't choose this path. Allah chose it for me. And there comes a point when you study enough about a religion or something and you start believing it, that you become very scared that this is the truth. And then, your only logical conclusion is to accept the religion as the truth. Because if you don't, you will have to live in the lie. So the problem is, I didn't choose it. I had to choose it because I realized that this is the truth. What should I do? Ignore the truth? Like what? I could do that. I could be like, hey, I know Islam is the truth. I know it makes sense. It makes sense. All of it makes sense. There are some things I don't know why. I don't know this. I don't know. Splitting of the moon sounds crazy. But you know what? I'm just gonna ignore it for now. And I did that for a few months, and then it came back. Inshallah, that was lucky. But yeah, it's difficult. It's definitely difficult. But it wasn't a choice. I had no choice. I had to submit, or I would just live in constant denial of the truth, and that's a poor life. What's going on? The legacy we leave behind. Wait, what you saying? I think death is only inevitable of life, therefore it has to be contemplated. But it is not death itself which is significant, but the way we live our lives, knowing that we'll be held accountable. How beautiful, AK. But imagine the life of an atheist, they are not accountable. If you say you'll be accountable, you're implying that there must be somebody who's holding you accountable, which in our case is God, Allah. But to if to really think about this, uh, and for them to understand that there is actually a creator who created you, every not pixel, every cell, everything in you is perfectly from his knowledge. That's a very scary thought, because you know that you don't deserve this life. You don't deserve to do this. You didn't born. You don't even know why you're born. So you can't even repay the debt, the debt of being born. Like your life is not yours. It's Allah's, and you're living it with thinking that this is your body and this life is all you have. And in reality, this is not your body, and life is not yours, it's Allah's. And He created you. So the thought is very scary to really, you have to submit then. If you don't submit, then you live in this scary thought. So you just try to avoid anything that reminds you of religion, Islam, or God, or whatever. No. So that's kind of the crazy things. When I was an atheist, I didn't fear being dead, only the process of getting there. Yeah, I mean, as an atheist, you're nothing, right? If you die. So, but the thought of you not existing is difficult as an atheist. Your consciousness not existing. That's difficult as an atheist, right? Inshallah. Hey, what's up, Hamid? Alaikum salam. Peace be upon y'all. Man, have you gotten the motivation to know Arabic? No, dude, this is way too much for me. Right now, I will dabble into it, but I'm more concerned with Sharia and different things. But I will, inshallah, get into Arabic, but it's very difficult right now. Assalamu alaikum. We all meet in Jannah, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being oppressed. I mean, yes, nice. Agreed. We have to all strive for Jannah. Like, how beautiful of a target that is. How many levels of Jannah there is. We can't even imagine it, dude. It's definitely worth it. I have a friend who's miserable and depressed and knows about God and how it will help them when they get closer to God, but it seems like no matter how many signs they see, they want to leave. Yeah, dude, because you can't make someone believe in God. You can only show them a message, and only Allah guides. So He guides whoever He is not arrogant. If you have a, if you are humble, you really are searching for the truth, and then if you get the message in whatever shape or form, you'll be guided. But if you're not humble, if you're not open, and you're a bit arrogant, um, then you won't be guided. So I don't know what to say with your friend. But I have a friend as well. I have a lot of friends who are like depressed or they have some problems, and they're trying to look at these things like Sam Harris can help me, or this thing, or I'm gonna try this fasting or this. And I'm just like, you're like a blind man catching whatever comes to you. Like, dude, there's one thing, Islam, try it out. When you look at life, would it not be better to live as a baby and not be judged as a man? Yeah, that's pretty good thought. But if you were, imagine the entire world are just babies, you know, you can't just have babies. In order to have babies, you must have adults. And yes, adults are held accountable for the actions, but you're also allowed to live life and to express and to enjoy your life in terms of just like living life that baby cannot have. So baby is not held accountable because they cannot do much. But you as a grown man or something, you can do a lot of things. So you can say life is unfair, but it allowed you to experience life. So you should be grateful for it. And yes, you will be judged for it because you had responsibility as a grown man, as a somebody who's not a baby anymore. I don't see it as a big problem, you know. Looking blurry. Yeah, it's blurry out here. I'm gonna get a new laptop then. The miracle of it is such that when you read it, you feel amazing and calm. Yeah, I know. I prayed my Tarawih, so I know what you're saying. But in the future, maybe, inshallah. Guys, I gotta go. It's been 1 hour, and it's after midnight, and I had a very long day. Babies get a free pass to Jannah? I think so. Maybe you can ask some more Muslims, but I think babies get a free pass. May Allah make it easy for you guys. I'll catch you next week. Tomorrow, I'm talking to Dr. Steph about history of Islam and whether it was spread by the sword. So catch me then. And we're also gonna do an episode maybe about Israel and Palestine in the future. You never know. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for sticking by. It's pretty crazy that you did for such a depressing theme, and I hope we can do this more often. Non-alcoholic, let's say, evenings. It's midnight, and yeah, it was great to be here. Salam alaikum. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.